guys, welcome to the next episode of my Halo concept art analysis series, with this episode being focused on the Covenant Spirit Dropship. Just how much this iconic vehicle changed from its conceptual phase versus what we actually saw in Halo Combat Evolved. That's what this whole video is about. But just in case you're new to my channel, I make new Halo videos every single week, so be sure to subscribe. And just in case you find yourself liking this video, be sure to drop a like on it because it helps the video reach more Halo fans, and that's always a great thing, and it means a whole lot to me. But guys, let's take a look at some Spirit concept art. So kicking this video off with our first piece of concept art, we have this guy. What I love so much about this piece of concept art, and really this entire concept art analysis series that I've been doing on the channel, is that when you look at this concept art, it's not immediately recognizable as a Spirit Dropship, but there's some elements here that do remind you of the Spirit that you see throughout all the concept art that we're going to be going through in this video. So diving right in, the first thing I noticed is that it's got those little prongs sticking up at the end that remind you of that tuning fork shape that the Spirit Dropship is known for in Halo CE, though this one is circular shaped instead of straight like we see in Halo Combat Evolved, which gives it a completely different look. But really the next thing you noticed immediately is that the troops are being dropped off at the bottom of the ship, whereas in the Spirit Dropship from Halo CE, as you guys know, they're dropped off out of the sides of the ship and there's just a gun down there at the bottom. Here it's flipped around, which makes you wonder if the Spirit Dropship originally was supposed to be like this. The troops are dropped off at the bottom and maybe the guns are at the sides and on the top, whereas in Halo CE they just flipped those around, made the troops drop out the sides, and there's just a gun down there at the bottom. And that's cool because maybe this is the way it was supposed to be in the first place. But really the next thing I find really neat about this concept art is that if you look at this vehicle right here at the bottom that the Spirit is carrying, it might look a little familiar, and that's because that is the Covenant Spectre from Halo 2. A lot of people don't know this, but throughout all the concept art that I've been going through for Halo Combat Evolved, the Covenant Spectre was supposed to be in Halo CE, and it was eventually cut and added in the next Halo game. But here it is, it's concept art from Halo Combat Evolved that was, like I said, obviously cut, but it's really neat to see this old concept art of a Spirit carrying a conceptual vehicle that wasn't even in the game, though it is later introduced in Halo 2. I think that's really neat. But another really cool part of this concept art is if you look at where the Spirit is actually carrying the Spectre, I hope that there's nothing there. I hope it's completely see-through, just has that blue energy like you see in the middle of the Spirit Dropship in Halo CE, because if that's the case, then the body of the Spirit, the only like solid part would be that circular rounded edge, which is really reminiscent of the Spirit Dropship from Halo CE, but instead of the body of the ship being straight, it's circular like a disc, and it's completely see-through. I think that would be such a cool look, and it looks awesome, and I think that's what they're going for here, because when you look at the interior of that circular edge, you can see everything, implying that there's nothing there. It's just completely see-through energy. So basically, unlike the Spirit Dropship just being straight, it's just circular. I love this look. I love that it's basically flipped, where the troops are being dropped out the bottom and the guns are on the side instead of the troops jumping out the sides and the gun being on the bottom. It's just completely flipped around. There's a lot here that reminds you of the Spirit. Everything's here. It's just different, and that's why I love this concept art so much. But guys, let's move on to the next one. So here we are, guys, at the second piece of concept art with this guy, and I know this isn't like a full body shot of the Spirit Dropship, but this is Covenant Dropship concept art. But what I love about this, what immediately captures my imagination, besides all the detail, which is really cool because you can see the Elite's actually got his hands inside the machinery to actually control this vehicle. It's really neat stuff that we've never seen before, but really what captures my imagination here is the fact that the Elite's head is like sticking up out of the cockpit, which makes me wonder, what if like other vehicles in the Halo sandbox, like the Ghost, what if like Master Chief has a sniper? If you had a sniper, what if you could actually see the pilot's head, and if you were good enough, you could snipe him, killing the pilot, causing the dropship to crash and explode? One of the things that I love so much about the Phantoms of Halo 3 is that you can finally destroy them in a huge explosion, and even to this day, if a Phantom shows up, I stop everything and focus fire on it to blow it up. I love blowing up those dropships, and just the thought of being able to do something like that in Halo CE, I would have been reloading checkpoint after checkpoint, just trying to snipe the pilot out of this thing just to cause this thing to crash. I think that is so cool and so unique, and like would have been so neat to see in the Halo CE sandbox. Obviously we didn't get that, but just the thought of being able to snipe a pilot of a Spirit Dropship in Halo CE, causing it to crash and explode and preventing it from being able to drop off his troops, is so cool. It's such a Halo sandboxy thing. We never saw it. Would be really cool to see something like that in the future. But guys, let's move on to the final piece of concept art. So here we are, guys, at the third and final piece of concept art that I have for this video, and here it is, and that's the Spirit Dropship. That's immediately recognizable as the Spirit from Halo CE. It's got all the bells and whistles. The troops are jumping out the side. The gun is now located at the bottom. It's pretty much the final draft of what we actually see in Halo CE. But what I absolutely love about this piece of concept art is that when you really analyze it and look at it, this Spirit Dropship is massive. Look at how small the Covenant are as they climb out of this thing. Look at the giant ramp that they have to run down before they get out. If you think about the Spirit Dropship in Halo CE, when it lowers down and opens up the hatches to let the troops out, the troops are pretty cramped in those like holding cells on the side. They're hunched down, the cells open up, they jump out, there's barely enough room for them to maneuver, but that's because they're not supposed to be in the dropship for very long before they're actually deployed in combat. But here, you can see that that's a hunter right there, and he's got all the room in the world to roam around the inside of this thing, and then the huge ramp. There's even a ghost right there in the foreground showing you even more how much larger this Spirit Dropship is than the Spirit Dropship that we actually see in Halo CE. And what I love about this is, like, can you imagine a version of the Spirit Dropship that whenever it shows up, it's not going to just drop off, 6 to 8 troops. This thing's going to drop off like 30 guys. It's going to drop off, like a bunch of infantry, of some vehicles, things like that. And this is the kind of thing I would love to see in like Firefight and the later waves of Firefight where things are getting more and more difficult. They're not just going to send a Spirit that's going to drop off a few troops. This is a Spirit that's going to drop off like 30, 40 guys and just a whole horde of Covenant. I think that's so cool. It really captures my imagination of this, like this dropship that's just a humongous ship that's just loaded to the brim with Covenant that can drop off just a whole horde. I think that's so cool, so neat. And even though this is the like really close to the final look of the Spirit, it's just so different simply because of its massive size. But guys, we've reached the point of the video where I show you the Spirit Dropship as it actually appears in Halo CE, and here it is in all of its dropship glory. What I love so much about the Spirit is it really reminds me of some of my earliest memories playing Halo Combat Evolved. I remember crash landing on Halo that first time and being sole survivor and stepping out and seeing this crazy looking alien dropship dropping troops off looking for survivors. It kind of freaking me out, me running into the dropship hoping that they wouldn't find me. Obviously they did, but that's why I love the Spirit. It's so unique looking, it's so alien, so foreign, so cool, and there's nothing else like it in like sci-fi. It's so neat and unique, and I love it, and it just brings back all this nostalgia that I have of my first memories playing Halo Combat Evolved. The Spirit is right there next to the Covenant and everything else, and it's great. I love it. But guys, that's all I have for this video. If you find yourself liking this video, be sure to drop a like on it because it helps the video reach more Halo fans. I also make new Halo videos every single week, so be sure to subscribe. But guys, let me know down in the comments which version of the Spirit did you like more. Did you like the more rounded look? Did you like the massive look that we saw with that final piece of concept art? Let me know down in the comments, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.